What's up, guys? It's Sam here, and I wanted to talk about SARMs, selective androgen receptor modulators, and there's a bill in the that is trying to get passed into law, and it was introduced by Orrin Hatch, who is the senator for Utah. He's Republican, so. It is S.2742, SARMs Control Act of 2018. It was introduced, I think, on April 24th of 2018. Now, I wanted to get into SARMs. SARMs, if you are watching this, you probably know what they are. They're selective androgen receptor modulators. And it is, if you think about it, how I think about it, they're kind of like, what aspirin or ibuprofen was before the fucking internet was around, right? Like, company were testing them to see if the shit worked, right? And they wanted to know if it worked. Now we have these SARMs, which have tremendous benefits, and we don't know what some of the side effects are, right? Like, we don't know yet. I have personally researched with a bunch of different SARMs with very little to no side effects whatsoever. And there's other things in this category like SARMs, selective I think it's estrogen modulator, whatever, the same exact thing. I look, instead of an A, it's it's an E, SARMs, and that's, I think you get like clomiphene, tamoxifen, but it's obviously a generic version of that, and some other products. Anyways. I have definitely enjoyed my research. I think that they are a great product. I think that they people should be allowed to take whatever products that they want to research, and having the information available to the public is something that needs to happen. And I think that if you watch my last video about the democratization of the internet and you realize how things are funded, why things like this come about. So I'm going to get into that, and I want you to interact with me. I want you to give me feedback. I want you to call your senator, or so it looks like this is the senator. He sponsored this bill. He's the senior senator for Utah. So contact your senator. I'm not sure how the best way to do that is, but I will be doing that for Massachusetts, and I will let you know how I do it, and I'll record the call so you get to see exactly how it plays out and what I say during that process. So I'm going to read to you off of the governmenttrack.us site, and it says, this bill is the first stage of the legislative process. It was introduced into Congress on April 24th, 2008. It will typically be considered by the committee next before it is possible to send to the House or the Senate as a whole. And according to Scopus Labs, it only has a 3% chance of passing. Now, you're like, well, this is typical. You know what I mean? This is kind of like what would happen to anything that's fucking actually works, right? Try to make it illegal, right? And the thing that really like bothers me about this is that it's people like Orrin Hatch, right? He's just acting in his own self-interest, right? And you might wonder why I would be saying that. So if you go over to, where is it? It's called opensecrets.org, right? And you do just a tiny bit of, just like this much research into who donates to Orrin Hatch, right? Orrin G. Hatch, the senator from Utah. And I bet, if you're watching this video, that you could probably guess what type of companies donate to getting him reelected in his campaign. Pharmaceutical companies, to the tune of $2.75 million. Let me repeat that. The guy who is trying to ban SARMs and make them illegal let me look at some of the verbiage. Okay, so this is on his site, right? This is on the governor's actual website. Let me figure out where it was that I read this. Americans consume deserve to know if they are buying seriously dangerous drugs slipped into their everyday dietary supplements. Like, the language is just completely ridiculous and sensationalized. And okay, here we go. SARMs. So I'm going to read this. This is a paragraph off of the senator's site. So you can I can throw some of these links in the description if you guys want. But I do want your feedback, and I want your help to contact your senator. Whatever, if you're in the United States, contact your senator, and just takes half a fucking second to Google and who your senator is tomorrow, or at some point. Tomorrow's Saturday, so I won't be able to do it tomorrow. At some point within the next few days, I will be contacting the senator here in Massachusetts and recording that call so I can show you what I am doing and just tell them that you do not support this piece of legislation. This is completely and utterly ridiculous. The person who put this legislation forth is supported by the pharmaceutical industry, according to the OpenSecrets.org, who tracks the campaign contributions, to almost $3 million. Like, clearly you're going to support them. They gave you almost $3 million fucking dollars. Completely ridiculous. This information needs to be out here. And I would bet this is not going to be the first piece or video that I make on this. If you know anybody else who uses SARMs or has thought about using SARMs for their personal research, or is thinking about researching with SARMs, please share this video with them and let them know what is going on. This is the shit that I believe people in America need to know about. This kind of stuff happens all the time, and we need to shed some light on this. This is completely ridiculous. And I want to leave you with a paragraph from his site. SARMs are synthetic drugs that have negative effects similar to those of anabolic steroids. This is according to the senator. Even though SARMs are not approved by the FDA for human use and pose the same safety risks as anabolic steroids, they have proliferated under a regime in which they are not subject to the same controls. The SARMs Control Act closes this loophole to ensure the DEA has the authority it needs to prevent abuse and diversion of these dangerous substances. Let me repeat that last line. So that the DEA has the authority it needs to prevent abuses and diversion of these dangerous substances. Like, I'm not making this up. It sounds like this is like from a movie, right? I'm not making this up. It took me fucking 15 minutes to figure this out. Like, it's not that complex, and I want your help to contact the senators in your state if you're living in the United States. If you know somebody who is going to be researching with SARMs, who has researched with SARMs, share this video with them and have them contact their senator and tell them that they do not approve of this bill. Don't need to be ridiculous or disrespectful. Just tell them that this is fucking ridiculous. No, do not say that. Do not say that. Do not harass anybody. Just be polite. Call them up and tell them, hey, I do not support, and you give them the bill number, which I'll put in the link of the descriptions, S.2742 SARMs Control Act of 2018. Just tell them you don't support it. If you do support this channel, make sure you press that subscribe button. If you want to see other content like this, make sure you press that subscribe button. Let me know down below in the comments. I would love to hear your feedback on this. I think this is completely ridiculous. I would like to do some more research on this and bring more content to you about this. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you press that like button. That like button will actually share this video with other people who with the YouTube SEO, which is a search engine optimization. This, by pressing like, it actually puts this video in more of the browsing features, or when people look into SARMs on YouTube. So if you do that, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.